Well, hello my friends, and welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. Today I am going to be talking to you a little bit about our goals and the things that we have planned for the gardens and for the farm here at Crowley House. So I also this week I worked out in my little garden, which is one of my personal gardens. It's up front by the house, and it's just a small area, but it's what we call the cool garden, or what I call the cool garden. And part of it is just because in the afternoon there's so much shade there. It does get quite a bit of sun still because it's a new garden, and it's only a couple years old. I've been working on it probably the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years. It's just something that I've kind of worked on little bits at a time, using what I have, dividing things. You know, a friend might give me something and it works well there, and so I've put it in, but most of the colors are all very calming, blues and whites and lots of greens, and then there's just little hints of peachy, blushy here and there, and occasionally we have some iris there as well that are kind of some different colors. So this year I need to like mark and see which ones need to come out. But anyways, I worked in that garden, and Jason also made some jerky. And jerky is one of those things that I love, especially here on the farm. It's a quick, nutritious bite. And so he tries to keep up with that and keep it stocked in the fridge for me so that we can have quick snacks when we need them. Because I'm notorious for not eating. Like, I just keep going, and I can't do that. Anyways, I thought I would just jump in and do our goals, but here's first look at my cool garden that I worked on, and it's a mess, so brace yourself, okay?
I picked up a few of these hydrangeas. These are proven winners. This is a quick fire, and then I got a limelight prime. I planted a couple of these in the garden itself, the limelight hydrangeas that are the tree peony, and they're just already in the garden. These I got on sale at the end of the year, and I haven't quite figured out where I'm gonna put them, but I love the different varieties just for mainly weddings, and then also as a dried for like a wreath or something like that. But I got a couple more. I'm gonna just move them out of the way so that I can start cleaning up this garden. So another quick fire, and then this one is another limelight prime. And then we have 2 more, which is, this is another little quick fire, which is really pretty. So you know, when I was talking about fall color, this was my fix. This is what we're gonna do because they can tolerate some sun. And this is a Bobo. I've never grown this one. It's a white one. It's really pretty. I think for weddings mainly. But anyways, I got all those on sale at my favorite nursery, Wavra, which is just down the road a ways. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with them. But I think this is my fix for fall in the gardens. Definitely loving what they look like. I'm just going to get started. It's a little overwhelming, I have to say. I kind of really neglected this garden, so we'll see it kind of shape up. We have a huge amount of blackberries. And if you don't stay on top of it, it can get a little out of control. Now, I don't want to remove this layer of mulch that we already have down, and I don't want to remove. So this is kind of a variegated Japanese maple. It's got this beautiful kind of pink, light pink with a kind of limey green foliage. Love it. It actually makes for a really good cut as well. So sometimes when the tree gets a little bit out of control, I'll use it for certain events. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of clear all of the just kind of rambled mess, but leave all of the goodness of these leaves and the compost that's already down, and just getting out all these blackberries. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really embarrassing, but I'm glad you're here to see it. because then, you know, maybe you have a similar problem. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. The other thing we have a problem is we have a ton of these. This is a Italian plum and it goes crazy. So little suckers come up everywhere. And so I've been fighting it for over 12 years now, and the problem's not really going away. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and cut it way, way back. And then I'm going to plant a hedgerow of some sort of evergreen. And if you have a suggestion for that, I'm thinking some sort of laurel, but I'm also thinking an evergreen, which we kind of have that up the road a ways on the farm as a hedge as well. So this time of year we start to put down some slug bait as well that will kind of help with the new spring bulbs that come up. I have to tell you guys, it's kind of hard to know exactly where to start. It's a little overwhelming. Maybe that's why I neglected this garden. It just got to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna close my eye on that and move on to another project that sounds like more fun. But look at this blackberry vine. Eeh! I don't even know if I'm strong enough to pull this one. Focus. It's not as bad as it looks. Give me an hour and it will look better. Just have to get at it. You know that movie, The Secret Garden? That's kind of how I feel, because I know underneath all this debris, all those blackberries, under the overgrownness of fall last year, there is going to be a beautiful spring. I can't wait to show you. But until then, I've just got to get all those layers off, all those weeds, and mainly those blackberries. Everything's coming along pretty well, and I'll show you when I'm done. It's gonna take me a while. I think I'm gonna have to change my gloves into some goat skin gloves because that blackberry is nasty. And by the way, today's video is sponsored by HISEA boots. HISEA boots are one of those boots that I picked up along my flower farming journey. These are inexpensive, easy to slip on, and I love having them because they're super easy to clean up, wear, and on and off they go. So when my other boots that I wear on a regular basis are muddy, and this morning they were wet, I slipped these on and I'm still able to get out in the gardens and work. So it's nice to have two pairs. Anyways, go check them out. I'll put a link below. Thanks.
Well, that was a lot of work, and I was very sore the next day after I finished that garden, but I think it's gonna come together beautifully come spring. I saw some like rodent issues, and I think I might have lost some bulbs, so we'll see. I might have to plant some more or just do something different. I don't know. You know, it's a work in progress, and every year I want it to be different and change, and that's kind of how gardens are. So I thought I'd just delve in really quickly, just talk about some of the plans that we have here for the farm and the gardens here on the farm. First off is the fact that we are going to be focusing a lot on this farm here at Crowley House. So just our personal gardens, some of the rose gardens are going to get shifted around and moved. I ordered a whole bunch of David Austins, some new ones. We're going to be putting in one new garden this year, plus planting out a second one. It feels like to some it might be a lot, but for me, I've done this so many times that, you know, I kind of have set in my head what I'm gonna do, who's moving this year, and what my limitations are. So that comes to the next thing that I'm working on or trying to do is keeping kind of what we did this last year was just really nice level of work for us. And I felt like we obtained it really easily and well, and I didn't feel too stressed. Obviously there was days where I'm like super stressed, and everybody is, and I might have set, you know, the whole team off and vice versa. It just happens. But for the most part, just with our weddings, with our market bouquets, with our events here on the farm. I felt like it was a really good balance. So I'm going to keep that going, and I'm gonna really keep working on saying no, and then or just really thinking about what we are gonna do here on the farm that works best for my family. Because I do really like to share our farm with people, and especially you guys. I love to open it up for events, but sometimes when you've worked a full week and then you have to get the farm ready, there's a lot involved in that to get it all beautiful and clean, tables out, water, you know, all the things. There's a lot that goes into it that you just don't realize is a ton of work. And so, you know, there were nights where I'd go in and I'd just crash and my body just hurt so bad that like the next day it was ridiculous. So that comes to my next one, and that is I am really working on, and this started at the end of the summer, I'm really working on taking care of myself, and not in a selfish way at all. I was just to the point where I just felt really yucky. I felt yucky inside, outside. And I just was like, something's off. And so my brother is a trainer at the gym down the road, and Riley goes to the gym. And she's like, Mom, why don't you just start coming with me? So I started training with my brother probably 6 months ago or so. And also I went to see like a naturopathic doctor, which I see a regular doctor as well, but went to see him for just some other, like just other things. And I'm feeling 100% better. So that's kind of cool. And so I'm just going to keep on that track. You know, it's not like I had to make any huge lifestyle changes. It's just more of trying to like eat. Like I don't eat. And, you know, sometimes when I do eat, it's like, oh, I'll grab an orange or an apple or this and that. And I'm go, go, go. And my body just kind of said, not anymore. We're not going to do that. So I really have to listen to my body. And that comes to the next thing is I you know, not last year, but the year before, I did a really amazing job with our vegetable garden. Last year, I totally dropped the ball. And I think it's because I went to Europe for a couple months with my sister. Beautiful, fantastic trip. But it kind of like, I don't know, it just was maybe at the wrong timing or whatever. So I felt like the garden lacked a little bit. My husband is an amazing chef, and you've seen him cook in some of our videos. But I really, you know, our goal, and I was just talking to him about it, and I said, you know, this year would be really nice to be able to share some of the things we do, or more of the things that we do here on the farm. So we really try to use what we have here on the farm and preserve what we have here on the farm and use that throughout the year. We also love to share it with people. So when they do come for a dinner or they do come for a sip and clip, that a lot of the things are from the garden. And I'm surprised about how many people just don't even like have a garden. So this is all a new experience for them. So it's really fun for them to go, you know, pick something simple like a tomato and, you know, let's grab some of these, you know, for dinner tonight, and let's, you know, do this or that, or grab some greens to make a salad. And people are just blown away by it. So what I would love to do is just incorporate every once in a while into our garden videos and flower farming videos, just a little simple food that we do here on the farm. Because it's really hard to go to really good restaurants because my husband does cook so well. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, you could have made this better. So anyways, he enjoys cooking. I think he likes to be on camera. Sometimes he's getting used to it. So it's just learning to film it and taking the time to do it. So we're hoping to get some of those popped in from now or every once in a while.
Okay, so last night I marinated the beef jerky, as Beth said earlier. It's nice having snacks like that that are healthy for you and good protein to get you through the day, right? So I marinated it all night last night, put it on this morning. It's been on here for about 3 hours. Some of the pieces are probably ready to come off, so we're just gonna open this up and yeah. So you can see here, like this piece is ready to come off. So that piece is ready to come off, and I took the liberty to flip a few of these already. So we'll flip. Some of these will need a little bit more time. Some will ready to come off, probably because some of them are a little thicker. So we'll probably leave those on there for probably another hour or so. So yeah, looking pretty good. Yeah, we'll check it again in about an hour or so. Yeah, why don't you cut the blackberries down or something? make use of your time.
I'm trying. There's so many. Oh,
I'm gonna go
they're
grab
taking
them.
over the house.
So we're keeping the weddings the same. Like I said, I think that's going to be the good balance. Majority of the flowers for the weddings are going to be grown here at Crowley House like we have in the past. And then our farm that we lease, which is the beautiful one with the pond and the horses and the cows and everything, that one is going to be growing mainly our market bouquet things. And I have my gal Emily is in charge of that farm. Emma will be in charge of this farm. Riley will be in charge of weddings and events, and then both her and I are going to be dispersed between all the farms. Actually, all of us will be dispersed between all the farms, but that's kind of how in my head I feel like it will work. The other thing I have this year also on top of the things that we do is my book is coming out. It's going to be launched April 4th, and that's Furrow and Flower, and it's a really cozy book. It's about the home, it's about growing up in a very large family. It's a really just a feel-good book. You know, you sit down with a cup of coffee and you just kind of delve into this, you know, beautiful life. And it comes from, my sister Sarah and I wrote it, but we are talking mainly about like how the garden or the home or the way my parents did things is not your traditional, you know, we grew up without a television. We had to make pretend and use our imagination, and we didn't have a lot of money. And so we just used what we had. So there's some recipes in there, and there's a lot of stories of just, you know, how we did things, and then also bringing it into our lifestyle now of how we live and how we, you know, process life with our own children, our own families, our husbands, and me being a farmer florist. So we talk a little bit about that, just designing and how I kind of feel about that, and how the garden speaks to me and how the garden speaks to my sister. So with the book coming out, I know I'm gonna have some things that I'm gonna have to go do, which will be like book signings, and you know, there's gonna be probably an event here on the farm, I would think, that I need to get ready for. And you know, it's not a huge book. It's not gonna be something that just is like, you know, not a Harry Potter, basically. It's just gonna be for people like you guys that really enjoy a really good garden book that is just a feel-good, cozy, you know, vibe. That is coming out. And so I'll have some things there. And so that's why I'm like, let's just keep the farm going the way it's going and kind of keep the same pace as we did last year. Keep those same numbers. I don't really want to grow any bigger. Actually, I don't at all. I kind of want to actually tone it back some. So we have our wholesalers that we're doing as well. That's just, you know, that feels like it's easy. Yeah, so that's kind of the growing aspect of the farm. So one thing that I've been thinking about lately is my mindset has to change with tasks, because sometimes I look out on the garden and it like overwhelms me. And I know I have a lot going on, and just there's a lot that you don't see either. So there's like, you know, all the stuff that you have to do on a computer, all the questions people have for you, and then all the orders have to be filled and kept straight, and you know, cutting and the cutting orders and people and this and that. So sometimes I'll look at projects on the farm and go, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna close my eyes to it and like not look at it. But even today, my husband and I were working out in the greenhouse, and what looked like an overwhelming task to do was like, Jason's like, yeah, that only took us like 4 hours to do. Why were we waiting so long? And I'm like, exactly my point. You know, things can look so overwhelming, and I think that can be that way in life as well. Things can be so overwhelming that you just kind of want to like, I'm not going to answer that email. I'm not going to answer that text. I'm not going to answer the phone call. I'm just not going to deal with it right now. But then when you deal with it, then it's like your mind is free, right? To like accept more things. So anyways, I'm just going to really work on that, is just, you know, trying to hone in. I don't ever make New Year's resolutions. I don't know. I'm just not a big, it's just something that I feel like the way that I think and the way that I believe, I'm constantly trying to improve and trying to do things better and trying to figure out the kinks so that the farm runs smoother or the family life runs smoother. Yeah, so I just don't do those things. And I think, I don't know, maybe people do, and maybe they are a good thing, but I just feel like people like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, or I'm not gonna eat this or do that, and then it just sticks for a couple weeks and you're back to it, you know? So I constantly am trying to improve. So along with Jason's cooking for some of our sip and clips and that kind of thing, we are going to be hosting, I believe, a farm to fork dinner here with a very high-end restaurant. They kind of go around the country, actually they go around the United States, and they do these amazing meals, and it's all about, in our case, it will be using flowers. We have grown several things for restaurants or for a lot of wineries that have chefs now. That's a big thing in our area where they have these very, very, very talented chefs, and they'll ask us for some very odd things. And so we've kind of fallen into that niche, not on purpose, but partly because we're like, you know, they have a floral subscription with us, so we're delivering once a week to them. So they'll be like, hey, do you have this, this, and this? And we'll be like, yes, we do, because we have a lot of things that are, you know, just kind of strange culinarily on the farm. And it's partly because my husband is one of those chefs that loves to cook and loves to use kind of interesting combinations or always stretching the envelope. And so that's going to be really cool. Okay, so the last thing that we're really working on this year, and it'll probably take us about a year to get put together, is the online sales of other things. People have asked us for that for a long time, and I've just kind of like, that's just one more thing that I have to put on my plate. I'm not gonna do that, not right now. But this year I feel like we have some good things that we've trialed and tested, and we've worked on our shipping for the last 3 years. Shipping is a huge deal, and there's a lot of complications with it, a lot of kinks to work out. So we've felt like we've worked some of the kinks out. I've gotten really good at doing it, figuring out how like FedEx works, because we use FedEx, and just working on kind of putting together some sort of shop, because I really want this to be good. And I just don't want to throw something out in the world that's just going to fill a landfill or fill somebody's joy for just a minute. I don't know. I'm really, I don't know. I've been working on that lately, I guess. It's just, do I really need this? Do I not need this? How is this going to benefit? Is it just going to end up in the landfill? I don't know. That's just my own rant. But for the like online sales, I want to make sure that it's just good, you know, and that is something that people can cherish and treasure and enjoy for a while or a long time, or, you know, it also benefits the environment. So we are working on that, and more to come on it, and it might not ever come about. I don't know, but that's our new thing that we're working on this year, is just getting that going. As in all things, like a garden, and if you're a gardener, because you're here on this channel, you know, a garden grows. You might have an idea of what the garden is going to be, or like in my case, my garden or my plans for the year, I have this grand idea of what it's going to be. But in the end, that garden or my plans are going to also change and stretch me, and also bend me into what needs to actually happen or what will happen. And I have to be completely okay with that. And I am okay with that, actually. This year, I'm trying to go in with no stress, and you know, it is what it is, and it's always worked out, and it's always been beautiful. Anyways, cheers to that, my friends. Well, until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we will be seeing you shortly back here at Crowley House. Bye-bye.